Thought for sure he was just going to clump those Dragoons up right next to those 2 mines, but luckily he kept the Dragoons. They are weakened, but he has not scouted this at all. Now he knows about the Vultures. The Vultures do have mines, so they're going to lay the mines near the gateways. The mines might be a bit too much for Stats to handle. No, Stats! No! Oh, the look of Vader no was on his face as well. Stats went, oh, OMG, you kidding me? Oh, wow. So CJ Entus happy again, and for good reason. That was almost the entirety of Stats' economy just exploded. God. Oh, man, I saw that coming a mile away, but it still surprised the hell out of me. That was... yikes. So Stats is looking noticeably exhausted and knowing that, wow, half my economy, probably way more than half of his economy, just went down the toilet, so he's really got to start from scratch and defend against what Leta has. And I'm sure that Leta is absolutely 100% focused at this point, knowing he just got a huge break in this game. That mine just ruined Stats' day. That is a Stats' day running mine. Oh boy. I'm just reliving that in my head again and again. And I'm sure that Stats will as well. Oh, the Siege Tank. Just an insult to injury. Siege Tank behind the natural expansion. Making sure the natural is not safe to mine. So Stats got to go back inside the main, where possibly more mines will await him. There's some Dragoons trying to get rid of that tank. The SCV was put there to repair the tank. It seems that Leta was not quite up on that to get the repair, so most of the troops are going to die. And Stats can go back to his natural expansion with what probes he has left. Oh man, that was probably the biggest mine explosion of the day. The most affecting one anyway. You see, there was a gateway at the front to help out with the choke, to keep that kind of narrowed down into a funnel to attack any troops that Leta might try to send. But yeah, things are not looking good for Stats already. I kind of feel bad for Stats, because that was so bad. But okay, here comes a drop ship. It's going to try to drop probably another tank behind the natural expansion. Leta can't keep up the pressure. He's so far ahead now as far as economy goes that, yeah, he's just got to snowball it into victory. If Stats can retake this game after that big of a loss, I will be incredibly impressed. But here are 2 tanks behind the natural expansion now. Much harder to get rid of than just a single tank earlier. Yeah, these Dragoons are going to have a tough time getting rid of these tanks, and Stats might just have to sack this base. I don't see a way that he can get in here and get rid of those tanks. Oh man, yeah, I think the Nexus is going to go down. The Dragoons have no way of killing those 2 tanks at the moment. Oh, Stats. Yeah, Stats is kind of behind in his tech because he's had to commit so much to replenishing his economy. And the second base explodes, and Leta is trying to do a drop inside the main, but Stats was wise to it this time. He sensed that it was coming, got that star sense going. But I see the robotics support bay up for Stats, so he is going to have something soon to drop on top of the tanks. Might have the Reaver drop close to the tanks, take those out quick. But the observers are pointing out that not much is coming out of those gateways for Stats. And the shuttle is waiting for the Reaver to pop from the robotics facility as Leta trying to get lucky and sneak by with vultures. But Leta is working off these 2 bases. That's really all he's got to stick to right now. He's building a bunker at the front just in case. And going around for another drop. He's going to actually resupply this drop. He's going to keep ferrying in troops. Yeah, just to take this the spot behind the natural expansion. Things are not looking good for Stats. I definitely feel sorry for him. But there's the dropship picks up the troops that behind the natural expansion. Leta's just going to try to get inside the main with these. Now Stats sees this. He's going to go over with the 3 Dragoons and keep those vultures out of there. But the siege tank going behind the main, that siege tank should be taken down pretty quickly as long as mines don't drag into vultures or anything like that. But the siege tank goes down. Got a few splash hits on those pros, but nothing major. Oh, dancing mine. The mine does not know what to do there. Amazing dancing mine. Yeah, the observers are very impressed by this spider mine, still focusing on it. But here comes the observers to help out with the mine clearing, and Stats is going to try to reestablish his second base. As I've said, he's far, far behind. But if he can hold back Leta's next push, because Leta's next push is going to be a killer, it's going to hurt, no matter what happens. But yeah, if Stats can hold it, keep back the push, he might be able to get himself back into this game. He's going to have to do a lot of harassment of his own with these Reavers. He probably just picked up the Reaver with that shuttle, so he's going to try to go to work with the Reaver. Now, it's going to be tough with that Wraith in there. Just didn't even see the Wraith at first, but the Wraith is going to take down this shuttle eventually. And the shuttle's spotted, so the Wraith is probably going to come into play very, very quickly. But here are Stats at the front. He's trying to bank on the fact that he's going to have perfect Reaver micro, because he really needs it to get back into this game. He's not even harassing yet. He's trying to find the troops, pick off what he can, then go in for the harassment. I think he's trying to lure the Wraith out of hiding so he can pick it off with the Dragoon. The probes being transferred back to the natural expansion. He's got the natural expansion back up and mining. And there's a shuttle being chased away by the Wraith. Dragoon's trying to come in, intercept the Wraith. Didn't even get got 1 or 2 shots on the Wraith, but didn't manage to take it down. If he can take it down, it's going to be much, much easier for Stats to get back in this game. If he can take it down, that means he can keep going with harassment. Just some Reaver harassment. See if he can take down as many SCVs as Leta took down probes. That's what's going to get Stats back in the game. Okay, Stats hovering around, looking for units he can pick off. Anything counts at this point. Any unit picked off is fantastic. Just got to keep winning little victories. That's all that comeback is. Just get the little victories here, little victories there. Go in for harassment like this. A little bit of harassment with a couple of Dragoons. And the Vultures sneak back inside the main. Only 2 of them. Looks like one's about to go down. It is in red. But the Vultures sneak in, get a couple more probe kills. And I think that there's a Reaver, 2 Reavers inside that main. Now we're trying to go for some harassment to make up for the probes earlier. But I think the shuttle went down, definitely went down by turret fire, which means that this last Reaver goes down. And with all the Reavers gone, Stats has no means of harassing. He really doesn't have any way to harass now, which is going to choke him soon. He is kind of choked as far as economy goes. Definitely doesn't have enough to move out and take his third base, so he's investing in gateways. Going to try to get back in this game with a strong mid-game army. But as I said, it's kind of a nightmare scenario for him now. Yeah, it's not looking good. Look at this army from Leta. That should tell you all you need to know right there. Plenty of tanks to melt just about everything. And now Leta is moving up for the final push. I think he's already established his third base. He feels safe in economy. He definitely has a much stronger economy than Stats. So he feels safe moving out to get the game-ending push and almost a second mine dragged into those. And Stats, I'm sure Stats is going to have nightmares about mines tonight, no matter how this game turns out. Okay, here comes Stats, going to try to defend against this massive push from Leta, massive, and the tank's not even sieging, just A-moving, everything that's left for Stats. Huge ground troops, huge amount of ground troops for Leta. He's just pushing straight to the natural expansion. I don't see any resistance from Stats. I don't see any way that he can resist this with what he has. He got the Reaver, got to get a lot of lucky Reaver Scarabs. Drop that Reaver, keep the Reaver being shot. The Reaver goes down, that's it. GG from Stats. Couldn't make the comeback from that devastating mine earlier in the game. That's the most devastating mine I've seen in a long time. I've seen a lot of them. It's okay, CJ Entus now has the lead in the series. We're moving on to the 6th set.